every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. We're talking about the 5 keys of adding 6 figures of bookkeeping and advisory revenue to your business. So we talk about lead generation, how to handle consultations, value pricing your services, leveraging advisory services, and then finally implementing people and processes in your business so that you can make more while working less. So I am streaming on both YouTube and Facebook. So if you're on YouTube, be sure to click that subscribe button so that you're notified of new videos when they come out. And also in the description is the link to my private Facebook group. So jump on over to Facebook, join that group, because lots of great discussion, advice, and growth opportunities are covered in there. And if you're on Facebook, click the link in the description to give my streaming software access to your profile so that we can interact on these live streams. And also be sure to jump on over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel for new videos all the time. And this week's topic is an exciting one for me, okay? And what we're going to cover today is what happens when you have too many leads, too many prospects reaching out to you, and not enough time, okay? And some of you might be like, wow, that would be a great problem to have. And it is a great problem to have. And in order to have this problem, you really need to have your marketing and your lead generation efforts really dialed in. Okay, so we're talking about all of the marketing strategies that you're using. If you're implementing those properly, you'll be generating lots and lots of people reaching out to you, okay, and wanting to book a call with you. But we really should be only on calls with the most qualified people, the cream of the crop, okay? So we don't want to be talking to people who fall outside of our ideal client, especially when we're either at capacity or getting to capacity, and we should be focusing on servicing our current clients and bringing on only the perfect clients. All right. That's a really, really powerful thing to understand, is that, I talked about this last week, this lie that some people tell themselves that something is better than nothing. It's a complete lie that holds people back from realizing their potential. Taking any client that comes along is very expensive, okay? If you take a client that doesn't pay you well, is problematic, whatever reason, they're not a great client. If we take that just to earn some money, it's costing us a lot in terms of lost revenue working with the clients that we should be working with. So that kind of applies to our consultation and our qualifying process as well. We should not be letting people book calls with us unless they are our ideal client. And some people say, well, you never know, or maybe it's somebody who's not interested in monthly bookkeeping, which is what I'd really like to be doing, but maybe it's something I can talk them into. And why? Why talk them into it? Why even get on the call and see if that's something we can convince them to do when there are so many people out there that are ready to go and ready to use our services right away? There's just so many of them out there. But again, you've got to be using the most effective marketing strategies, the stuff that's working right now. These are the things that I cover in my mentorship program, Booming Bookkeeping Business. And as you know, we've got people in the program getting clients every day. We give out 100K awards every month to people who are hitting 6 figures in their business. So this is something that if you start marketing properly, you are going to need to implement in your business. You want to implement a system that qualifies these prospects before they get on the phone with you. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the process I use. It's completely automated, and it helps me only book calls with people who are like ready to go and they're my perfect clients. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen here. And this tool is called JotForm. Okay, if you go to jotform.com, you can check it out. You can even get a free account there and try it out for yourself. And so what this does is it's a series of questions, okay, that the prospect is going to answer. And if they answer them the way we want to answer, we want them to answer them, which indicate that they're a qualified client, would be a potentially great client to work with, then they get to go to our book a call page, our Calendly. Okay, our Calendly link. If you don't know what Calendly is, it's a free tool, and it connects to your calendar. So it will show prospects only the times that you're available to take a call with them, and then they book it automatically. So when I have my funnel up and running and I'm qualifying people through this process, my phone just dings with emails of confirmed calls, and I know that those calls are going to be with really qualified prospects. So that's what the process is here. They answer the questions, and if they answer them the way we want them to, they go to book a call. If they don't, they go to a page that says, you know what, appreciate you reaching out, but it doesn't look like we're a good fit to work together at this time, which is great, because now I'm not talking to people who don't fall into my ideal criteria. So I'll walk through what it looks like to a prospect answering the questions, and then we'll jump into JotForm and kind of see how it gets laid out. So, someone's just going to hop in here, type their name, click next. They get to see a little progress down here. And these questions that I ask, these are the ones that work for me. They're the ones that I suggest people in my mentorship program use to really filter out the number of unqualified prospects they talk to. The more questions you ask, the more qualified those calls are going to be, because at some point somebody will see, I think there are like 9 questions here, 9 or 10 questions, and they may say, you know what, it's not worth it. Okay. If somebody says, oh, it's not worth it to answer a few questions to talk to this person who has shown me in their marketing material to solve problems in businesses and help his clients grow, then great. Go away. Okay. We don't need to be talking. But someone who is going to be willing to answer more questions is going to be more interested, more qualified. So email address, example@example.com. Let's see if it takes that. Hey, there it goes. All right, area code and phone number. Very cool. What services are you interested in? I like to ask this question because I really am only interested in working with clients who I'm going to be working with on an ongoing relationship. Okay, so that's that ongoing monthly bookkeeping. Business growth planning as well. That's going to be advisory services, so helping them grow their business. If they're not selecting one of these, and maybe they're selecting just cleanup, hey, I just need somebody to clean my books up for tax time. Personally, the way I have things set up for myself is that this person will not be able to book a call with me if they just select this, or if they select this as well. I don't do setups or cleanups unless they are part of an ongoing monthly relationship, because why bother when you get your marketing dialed in and there are so many people looking for an ongoing relationship? Let's just work with those. Okay. So let's just say that this person is looking for, a cleanup and ongoing monthly services. We'll click next. What industry? Oh, maybe it's construction. This question here gives me just kind of an idea of just some information about what to expect when I get on the phone with them. Okay, just a little background. I wouldn't necessarily say the industry is going to be a deciding factor on whether or not I work with this person. I'll click next, and then annual revenue. And these are kind of the buckets that I like to use because they really it does 2 things. Number one, I will filter out people who don't fall into certain types of revenue. Okay, if they're just starting out, where I'm at right now, I'm probably not going to work with them. Okay, I might not. I don't think I even work with 100. I don't even work with the 100 to 250K. They have to be doing over 250K in revenue. Once they get past that point, I could just say 250K and up, but splitting it out really helps me then determine what kind of person I'm going to be talking to on the phone. Okay, somebody who's doing between 250K and 750K is going to be a lot different than a company owner that's doing more than 3 million. Okay, just a little bit more information that I'd like to have before the call. So let's just say that this client is doing like $1 million in revenue. Okay, who has been doing your bookkeeping and why are you making a change? This is another question that isn't going to filter somebody out, but it will give me more information for the call. Okay. I also see that we've got a bunch of people watching live, so feel free to, as I go through, ask questions in the chat or in the comments, and I'll answer those as we go too. So, and if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment, and I'll respond to those later. Okay. So this one is going to tell me. Start to draw out some information that will help me frame the conversation. Okay, who's been doing your bookkeeping? Is it you? Do you have a bookkeeper? If so, why are you making a change? Making a change because current bookkeeper is terrible. Okay, whatever the case. This is just a sample for the sake of walking through this. But they might tell you that the current bookkeeper isn't giving them information on time. The current bookkeeper is. I've had situations where they were embezzling funds from the company, or maybe I've been doing the bookkeeping. Those types of things. Click next. What is the biggest obstacle in your business? So this is a great question that potentially opens the conversation up beyond bookkeeping. Okay, if whether or not we're offering advisory services, it's a really good idea to ask a question like this because it's going to help us walk into this conversation a little bit more prepared. And also, it kind of positions us as someone who cares about the problems they're having in their business beyond just, hey, do you need your bookkeeping done? Do you need to just check that box that your bookkeeping is done? So this is a really great question to ask. So biggest obstacle in your business, not growing as fast as I'd like. That's something that somebody might respond. Hey, Andy, I got a question here. Is there a reason you don't make a more specific allusion to services like CFO advisory services in your question about monthly cleanup? So the question about what services are you interested in? And the reason I don't is because a prospect is going to see business growth planning, and that's going to resonate a lot more and kind of mean more to them than if I say CFO services or advisory services. A lot of people don't know really what that means. A lot of bookkeepers aren't really sure what advisory services entails. And so some of the prospects many of the prospects won't know that. But business growth planning is something that everybody's going to understand. So that's why I don't break it out and say things like CFO or advisory services. Advisory is very general, could mean many things, in terms of like advising on, loans and tax advisory and things like that. So I like to use business growth planning, but that's a really great question. And I'll also just mention the obvious, which is that you should choose the questions that work for you in your business. These are the ones that work for me in my business. And so feel free to use what works for you. Other thing I need to mention is that this is, well, let me finish going through the questions, and then we can talk about how this would look on a web page beyond and outside of this environment. So biggest obstacle in your business, not growing as fast as I'd like. They click next. When are you ready to get started? I love this question. I never used to ask this question. And then I was talking to people who, again, maybe they wanted to look around, or maybe they weren't ready to get started. They were kind of dipping their toe into outsourcing their bookkeeping, so they were a little hesitant. And again, if you've got everything dialed in, there's so many people that are ready to get started right away. Let's focus on those. Let's not focus on people that aren't ready to get started right away. So this is a question that I would filter people out based on. If they do not select right away, if they select anything else within the next month or more than a month from now, they don't get to book a call. they don't get to book a call. Now, with this question and the revenue question, we wouldn't want to just leave an empty box for them to type the number in, because then we can't tell JotForm, hey, this take this value, and if it's greater than or less than, like, we can't do that logic. And so that's why we have choices. And the other thing to remember here is that you can change your logic, and I'll show you how to do that. Maybe you restrict people who can enroll to anybody over 250K like I do. But then you're like, well, maybe I'll open it up a little bit. Maybe I'm filtering out too many. Then you can open this back up. So you have a lot of flexibility here in deciding kind of who gets to make it through. So where's that last question? Let's select right away. Please provide any additional information you think I should know before the call. This is a really great opportunity to let them just kind of open up. And it's crazy. The older I get, or the more I communicate with business owners and just people in general, you ask an open-ended question, and I'm just shocked about how willing people are to disclose all kinds of like personal information, just telling me all kinds of golden nuggets that I would never have asked would never have known to ask about. It's incredible. So a question like this is also going to help you on those consultation calls. It's going to arm you with some additional questions so that you can continue to dig. And as you know, in our consultation videos on YouTube, we talk about just digging deep and finding the real problems business owners are having. So any additional information, just I'll put nothing for now. And then they submit. And if this prospect answers all the questions properly, they should go to the Calendly page. Okay. And this is my Calendly embedded on on my funnel page. Okay. So then they'd be able to click a day and a time and book a call with me. Okay. So that's the step. And so that person who gets to this step is going to be very well qualified. If we go back to JotForm and for whatever reason, somebody doesn't fill it out the way I want them to fill it out, let's see what that looks like. And what I mean by that is somebody who's just based on the responses to their questions, to these questions, it indicates that they're not a great fit for my services. So that could be somebody who doesn't choose ongoing monthly bookkeeping. Okay, they just want cleanup. I don't do that unless that's part of a monthly engagement. What industry? Okay, so it doesn't disqualify them right away. It waits until the end. Okay, because you never know what they're going to ask and answer, and you can do some conditional logic. Well, if their revenue is this much, and if maybe they didn't pass the services question, but their revenue is big enough to make me want to consider maybe that is somebody I would want to work with because their revenue is big enough, and I could do that cleanup and then show some value there. You can do some advanced logic. So we don't want to disqualify them until they get to the end. So annual revenue, they're just starting out. Who's been doing your bookkeeping? We're just going to type some test text in there. When are they ready to get started? I'm just looking around. I don't really know. Additional information. Great. Let's book a call with this guy. Well, and thank you. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel we're a good fit to work together at this time. Thanks for your interest. Okay, so we're filtering that person out, or people who fit, that criteria. People who aren't answering the questions in a way that helps us determine whether or not they're really qualified. So as you can see, the result here is only getting on the phone with people who are going to be really, really ideal. Your close rate, when you're on a consultation with a prospect, your close rate when you're doing this is very high. It could be 75% or higher. Okay, these are people that are really active and really ready to go. So I use this to give this to put this in context. If we kind of go back here, I use this and embed this on a web page. Okay, you can take this code. JotForm will give you a little code, and you can put it on like a web page. So I put it as part of my funnel. Okay, you don't have to do that. They could just go to a page that looks like this. It's kind of blank, but I have it embedded on a page with my logo and all those fun things. So that's really easy to do. And so it's part of a funnel. I've got either ads or I've got other outreach out there that drive traffic to a landing page, and then that shows all the benefits and the great things that are going to happen as a result of working with me. And then they get sent to this page. So they go through the qualification process. They click that button to book a call. They go through this process, and then they either get to book that call or we determine that they're not a good fit. So let's take a look inside of JotForm really quickly. This is JotForm, and it's really simple to use. Okay, you've got a list of elements here. These are basically kind of question types that you can ask. Short text. We want to give them more space to write longer text. Name, email address, those types of things. Okay, so you just drag something over. If we wanted to give somebody, an opportunity to tell me what industry they're in, this would just be short text. You would just drag that over. It drops it in there. We type the question, what industry are you in? Okay, and then we can click on settings and we can make that field required. And so now basically I have a duplicate here. Okay, that's pretty simple. So this one here, if we scroll down, this is a multiple choice. And we can put whatever options we want there. So you can customize this. You can you could put additional services on here if you wanted to talk about payroll, or if you wanted to talk about QuickBooks training, you could do that as well on here. I really only put the things that I would be interested in doing if it's part of an ongoing engagement. Okay, this one's a phone number field, like up here. Email address is here. Name here. This one's instead of a multiple choice, it's a single choice. So this one's radio buttons. This one's like a long text. And then down here is where you can edit that thank you page. And so if you click that here, it's going to ask, what should I do when someone gets to the end here? So you can either show a thank you page or you can redirect them to your booking page. And that's what you want to do by default. Okay, so put your Calendly link here. All right, or the page that your Calendly link is embedded in. Put that here. And then what you can do is you can go over to settings, and under conditions, this is where you tell JotForm whether or not someone gets to make it to the book a call page, or they get that page that says, hey, unfortunately, we're not a good fit at this time. So let's take a look at this condition. We'll click edit here. So it's basically saying if their annual revenue is either 0 to 100K or 100K to 250K, instead of sending them to the Calendly page, instead of doing what the default is, which is sending them to the calendar booking page, display this message. And I can edit this message as necessary. So that's what that does. And you can have some advanced logic here. If you can see this one, if when they answer, are you ready to get started to, is not equal to right away, sorry, you don't get to book a call. And then the other one I have here is, what services are you interested in? If that doesn't include ongoing monthly bookkeeping, then again, they don't get to book a call. But if they do answer all of those things properly, then they get to go to that call booking page. Okay, so if you click on publish, this is where you can get the embed code here. This would be just some code that it's a simple little piece of code that you drop into like your landing page software, your website. If you want this page to have other text, that sort of thing. Okay, so like your logo, whatever other, a title, some text here that says, fill out this brief form to book a call, to book your call. So then you don't just see kind of a floating question here. You've got some context, so you can have that designed. That's basically what I use. So it has my logo and some text on answer a few questions to book a call. So that's embedding it on a web page. Alternatively, what you can do is this quick share. Right now, if you're using Calendly, you're probably giving out your Calendly link, and that's fine. Calendly lets you ask a few questions there, so you have a little bit of information when somebody books a call, so that you're ready when you've got some answers, some context, some information when you're on the call. This is that on steroids. So this is that drawing out all that information, but then filtering out people who don't answer the questions properly. And again, this is something that you want to use when you really have your marketing dialed in and you really just don't want to be on the phone with people who aren't going to be a good fit for you. So if that's the case and you don't want to, for example, embed this in a web page or use this as part of a funnel, but you still want to filter people out, you can just use this link right here. Instead of giving people your Calendly link or posting your Calendly link, you can give them this link. You can have this in your email signature. You can have this in on your social media. You can have this, anywhere where you currently have your book a call link, you can have that there. And that link is just going to look like this when they go there. Okay, so they'll go through and they'll answer all of those questions. Anybody and everybody who is live now, just a reminder, you're welcome to ask questions and type into the chat, type into the comments, and I'll be happy to answer those while I'm on. I'll probably be on for another 5 or 10 minutes or so and answer any questions that you guys have about this automated step to help us qualify our leads. Okay, so we are only talking to the people who are the most qualified and likely to be working with us. Our time is too valuable to be spending it on the phone with people who have no idea what they're looking for. They're tire kickers. Their businesses are just getting started. Maybe we're not, we want to work with somebody who can provide, some big value to the many moving parts of their business. So this is a step that you want to implement when that happens. So that's basically JotForm and how JotForm is able to filter out those leads that you are not interested in talking with. And again, I like to use this, and I feel like it's most effective as part of a funnel. In a funnel, if you need a refresher, or if you aren't aware of how funnels work, I encourage you to check out the other YouTube videos that I've done on sales funnels, which are essentially automated but authentic ways of taking people from not having ever heard of you to booking a call with you. 100% automated, 100% authentic, and then you can put that funnel in front of many, many people via Facebook ads, via LinkedIn. You've got plenty of paid opportunities, plenty of free opportunities to get that funnel in front of people. The more people you get into that funnel, the better that funnel is, the more prospects are going to want to reach out and book a call with you. Okay, and so when that happens, that's when JotForm comes to the rescue and ensures that we're spending our time wisely and only talking to the people who are the most qualified. So let me know if you have any questions on JotForm or qualifying people. Those are the questions I use. Feel free to go back and write those down and use those in your own qualification process. Feel free to use them. If you're not ready for JotForm, for an automated process to kind of funnel people out of your book a call process, use those in Calendly. So in Calendly, they allow you to ask a series of questions. I encourage you to ask questions similar to those. Again, the more questions you ask, the more qualified the prospect's going to be once they get on the call, the more information you're going to have. So you're going to be able to ask better questions. And the fewer questions you ask, the less qualified, but ask some questions at a minimum. At a minimum, I always suggest industry and revenue, what their revenue is. Okay, if I'm just doing it on Calendly, I'm asking industry and revenue as a minimum. How soon they want to get started can be helpful. I prefer using them all, but if you want to just ask a couple of questions, those two are the most effective. All right, fantastic. I don't see any other questions or comments. If you have them and you're watching the replay, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I will answer those when I see them come in. Now, if you are just getting your bookkeeping business started, or if you're interested in starting your bookkeeping business, I encourage you to watch my free training that shows you everything you need to know to get started right away. In that free training, I show you how to get QuickBooks for free, which is the tool you'll be using to do bookkeeping for all your clients. I show you the top 2 ways of getting clients. I show you how to get some free training. I show you all kinds of great stuff that you can use right away. I also talk about my mentorship program there, okay, where I kind of take your hand and walk you through the entire process. All right. As we've talked about many times here, we've got lots of people every month getting their 100K awards. And we've got lots of people that are just getting 1 or 2 clients here and there because that's all they want. Okay, the business is yours and you can do whatever you want with it. You can grow it as big or as small as you'd like. Andy, thank you for dropping that link to the free training. So feel free to check that out. If you've already seen the free training and you've got questions about my mentorship program, reach out, send the Booming Bookkeeping Business Facebook page a message, or send me an email, billvf@boomingbookkeeping.com. billvf@boomingbookkeeping.com. You can also check out, if you're ready to sign up, you're ready to work together, ready to start growing your business, starting or growing your business, check out boomingbookkeeping.com/summary, which is where you can see all of the information, all the bonuses you get when you sign up, and testimonials from a lot of our successful students, and you'll get started right away there. So that's how we do it. Again, be sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube so you're aware of all the new videos that come out, and join my Facebook group so that you can see all of the great content that we've got in there happening all the time. Okay. And thank you, Andy, for posting that full mentorship program information, boomingbookkeeping.com/summary. Okay. So if you already have an existing bookkeeping business and you want to take it to the next level and you want to add 1 or more 6 figures to your business, you can find the link on my YouTube channel in the description of this video to book a call with me. And guess what? You're going to go through a qualification process. You're going to go through a JotForm where you see this process play out to determine whether or not we're a good fit, because it doesn't make sense for either of us to get on the phone if we're not a good fit for each other. And that's the cherry on top here that I'll leave, which is this isn't just all about us either. Okay, this qualification process, it's good for the prospect as well. The prospect should be talking to someone who is right for them, so they're not wasting their time either. So this is a win-win for everybody. So definitely qualify your prospect so that you're only talking to the ideal potential customers, okay? And do this when your lead generation and your marketing is dialed in, so you've got lots of people coming in. Your time is valuable. It's more important than money because it's a non-renewable resource. We can always make more money. We can not make more time. So with that said, I will go ahead and wrap things up. You know what we do every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. We are right here giving you the 5 keys to adding 6 figures of bookkeeping and advisory revenue to your business: lead generation, consultations, value pricing, advisory services, and people and processes, so we can grow, make more, and work less. So with that said, I will let you get